Scout's all about exploring your rig. It isn't about finding a musical idea, it's about looking for something interesting with no expectations. So I especially like to go on scouting expeditions when I have a new module, or if I feel like I've just been patching the same way over and over again, I want to change that and see if there's something different that I can do. So for this example, I'm going to play around with this verbose random sampling. It's fairly new in my case. I haven't explored it too much. I know its basic functions, and let's see what crazy stuff we can come up with. Maybe we'll come up with something cool. Okay, so for Scout, I went ahead and pre-patched something. Like I said, I'm using the random sampling here from Verbose, and it has an analog shift register, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically 4 little sample and holds. As it receives a trigger, it's going to grab a frequency on the first one, and then it's going to cascade that same frequency to the other 3. So I've got, let's see, I've got one of the outs of that going into the linear VC of one oscillator. I have the other one going into a frequency cutoff for the filter. And I have 2 random waves from Verbose going into, let's see, what am I doing here? Going into the volt per octaves on each one. So one oscillator is at 16 feet, the other one's at 8. So let's see what it sounds like. Let's give it lots of reverb. Let's give it some delay. But let's keep going with this voice and see if we can't come up with something a little bit more nutty. So I'm going to change the saw wave to a square. Actually, I'm going to use the 16 footer to do that. So let's put it into pulse width modulation. And let's just listen to the bass. Okay. So not the coolest so far, but we'll see if we can't find something. So another analog shift out to, let's go the exponential CV of the oscillator on the left on the 16 feet. What happened to my sound? Actually, instead of using that, I'm going to use another random voltage for that. There we go, got some slide going on there, a little portamento. So, sorry, my fat head. Let's see, let's slow down the triggers here. It has a noise source too, so maybe we should experiment with that. So let's try the white. Let's see where to put it. Well, let's see in the filter. Adds a little grit to it, a little nastiness. But at the end of the day, this is all I'm really doing, is just playing around, experimenting with doing things that I normally wouldn't do. I always use a sequencer. I would never do this normally if I was going to sit down and try to write something. But to experiment, maybe after another 20 minutes to an hour, something comes up, it's like, that's pretty cool. So it's just a way to explore. It's trying to challenge myself to do things differently, get out of the muscle memory of how I usually patch. Hopefully we come up with something cool. If we don't, we had some fun, call it a day.